Hi guys, today I have a really exciting build to show you, and I've done this as part of a challenge. See, last year I built the most expensive PC that I've ever owned, and my challenge then was to build the best PC I could with the money that I had available. And so today I'm building the high-end Australian gaming PC for under $2,500 Australian. The aim is to compete with my $4,000 system which I built just last year, and I think you're going to be really surprised with the results. When I started looking into doing this project, I was really shocked how much the prices have come down since last year. And that enabled me to spec this really powerful computer on the latest AM5 platform with the latest AMD graphics cards, a really nice looking case, and just quality hardware across the board. So let's jump in and take a look at some of the parts and prices that I've spec'd out for this system. So to kick things off, we have the motherboard. And for the motherboard, I was able to get the Gigabyte Aorus B650M Elite AX Micro ATX motherboard with Wi-Fi 6. For just $277 Australian, you can pick up this Aorus branded motherboard, which is a very high-end Gigabyte motherboard and supports the latest AM5 CPUs from AMD. Added to that, with the built-in Wi-Fi 6, you won't have to spend any more on an additional Wi-Fi dongle for your system, and it'll be built into your motherboard, so you don't need to occupy a USB port. This is far from the most budget AM5 motherboard, but my only rule for this build was to stay under $2,500. So with the budget I had, I was able to upgrade to this motherboard from the lowest end AM5s, and this turned out really well. And I have to say as well, it actually looks really nice. So next up, to complement the AM5 based motherboard, we have the AMD CPU. This is a Ryzen 5 7600 6-core CPU. It's the brand new model from AMD, and it wasn't available last year, so it's fresh off the line. It's lower priced than the 7600X, but should deliver similar performance. The good thing about this one is it actually also comes with a CPU cooler. So staying under my budget, I was able to save some money there and not have to buy a CPU cooler for my system. By going with the 7600 on the AM5 platform, we're also ensuring that our system has future upgradability. And I picked this one up for just $342 Australian. Being that this is an AM5 system, we do need to get DDR5 memory, and that has come down in price a lot too since last year. And that's why I was able to afford not just 16, but 32 gigabytes of DDR5 Corsair memory. This kit is clocked at 5600 megahertz with a CAS latency of 36. So compared to my other system, the memory isn't clocked as high, but the CAS latency is lower. And not to mention, I got it much cheaper for just $159 Australian. Over to storage now, and M.2 SSDs are another thing which have just plummeted in price. You can pick up really great high capacity SSDs now for next to no money. So I was able to get the Samsung 980 500 gigabytes, and I was able to pick this up for just $39. It's pretty funny how cheap these have gotten, because I remember many years ago buying a 500 gigabyte Samsung SSD 2.5-inch drive for $500. While it's not the top of the line 980 Pro edition of Samsung's drives, it is a really great brand being Samsung, and 980 is nothing to sniff at, with a read speed of 3,500 megabytes per second. To power my system, I've picked up this Gigabyte Tough Power Grand Series 850 watt gold rated power supply. This is an RGB edition, and it was on special at my local computer store, but there's a lot of options out there for PSUs around the same price range and 850 watts. So you can get any brand so long as it's kind of reputable. Another option is the ADATA XPG Core Reactor 850, which is also 80 plus gold. These price around $126 Australian. So how about the graphics card, the most important thing for a gaming system? I ended up looking at the 7900 XTX, which to my astonishment, it wasn't much more expensive than the XT, and it outperforms the 4070 and 4070 Ti's by far. This is the top of the line Radeon graphics card on the market at the moment. It competes directly with the RTX 4080. It's got 24 gigabytes of memory, and I was able to pick this up for just $1,450 Australian. It's the Sapphire RX 7900 XTX Pulse. As for the case, I've gone for an ATX mid-tower size, and I've chosen the Deepcool CC560 ATX tower. This is a blacked out case. It has a tempered glass side panel. And one of the highlights of this is it actually comes with not just two, not just three, but 4 fans. And they are RGB fans. So, Deepcool haven't cheaped out on this thing. Although this case is considered a budget case, it is really well equipped for how much it costs. I picked this up for just $74 Australian. And, PC cases are one of those things that really boggle my mind how they're able to sell them so cheap, considering how bulky they are and the materials they're made out of. Especially ones like this, which come with 4 fans and a tempered glass side panel. It is a really high quality product from what I've looked at so far. And $74 to me, that is a real bargain, and it's going to look nice when this system's finished. So in total, I was just under my budget, and this system came in at $2,480 Australian. Now, that doesn't include shipping, but half of this had free shipping included, and I only spent about $30 on shipping total across the stores that I bought from. If you'd like to see the parts and their prices currently listed, I'll put a link to my PC part pickers list in the description of this video. Before we move on, I know a lot of you are going to say that you can't run a 7000 series CPU with a stock cooler because they are garbage. And you know what? You're right. Those stock coolers, the one that comes with the CPU, they are garbage. But this is a budget system, so I've had to go with that to keep it under the price range. However, if you do want to get an aftermarket cooler for your CPU, you can get one for about $99. And I'll list a separate PC part picker list in my description below if you want to go with that option and spend the extra $100 for better CPU cooling. If you can afford it, I recommend it. But if not, you can always do it in the future, and this system will work just fine without it, although it is going to be a little bit of a penalty to your thermal performance. So with that, let's put this system together and see how it competes with last year's $4,000 RTX 4080 build sitting in my living room over there. So there it is, the ultimate high-end budget gaming PC, and the best that you can build in Australia for $2,500. Just think about that. NVIDIA's RTX 4080 is recommended to sell by NVIDIA themselves for 2.2 thousand Australian dollars. This is just $300 more with a flagship AMD graphics card, the RX 7900 XTX, and it's a full system with the latest AMD CPU platform. So, if I'm going to spend that much money on a gaming PC, this is the exact thing that I would build, and it is what I built. I hope you subscribe for my next video where I put this system head to head with my RTX 4080 system, which again cost almost twice as much as this to build just last year. There we're going to look at benchmarks and thermal performance of this system. I'm also going to upgrade the CPU cooler to a water-cooled 240mm radiator and see what difference it really makes to gaming performance when you go from the stock AMD cooler to a aftermarket water-cooled solution. Please subscribe because I'm trying to get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers so I can monetize my YouTube channel, and I've got some really good videos coming up and ideas in the pipeline. Hope to see you soon.